Edit. Damn, I never imagined this would blow up. I'm gonna read everything and take in as much as I can. That should make me forget about the sadness for quite some time. Hope this post will help all the other sad people too. Thank you so much, boys. Story 1. Alright, I'm gonna sound like a weirdo, but I pretend I'm at a TED Talk. I pretend that I have just finished my dream program and I am kind of speaking my dreams into reality. I talk about all my struggles, all the experiences I've had, but also all the losses I've had and pain I've felt. It will from there sit with you for a while and you'll see how much you've come and how real achieving your dreams becomes. Story 2. I talk to myself in the mirror out loud sometimes. I ask myself why I'm feeling sad and then really try to answer. Then I try to explain it to myself, like what specific way I'm feeling and what might have caused me to feel like that. Sometimes it helps because I realize that the reason I'm feeling sad is stupid or irrational. It helps to hear things out loud. Story 3. Depends on the type of sadness. Romantic sadness. Beer and ice cream while watching romantic comedies is a go-to for me. Depression or feeling useless sadness. Go rock climbing or work out. Get myself a nice peanut banana smoothie. Feeling alone in the world. Text all of my friends and get at least one person to hang out online gaming with me for an hour or two or go out for drinks. If none of that works, I'll watch some adult content, take care of myself and go to bed, then hope tomorrow is better. Story 4. Make a cup of my favorite coffee. Hold it in my hands, feel its warmth. Look at its rich brown color, close my eyes, and just take in the smell. Lose yourself in a moment. Can be with anything, not just coffee. Story 5. Exercise. It releases endorphins and from a physical standpoint actually helps your brain chemistry. Also, find a task or chore and do it. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, even something small. Thanks for the encouragement. Hoping this is a reminder and motivation for everyone to keep moving and moving forward. Story 6. Such a hard question to answer. Sounds like you need a friend. I've got a good friend. Met him way back when I was small. Didn't realize then we would be together forever. A long time later, I missed that friend. Realized we didn't talk or laugh or make goofy faces or silly voices to entertain each other. Decided to put a stop to that. So I sat down and looked at the mirror. I asked why we don't talk anymore. He wasn't sure. Just seemed like we faded away. I didn't like that, so I asked if we could be friends again. He said he would put in as much effort as I do. So that's what I did. I put significant effort every day to make friends again with the man in the mirror. Now we make goofy faces, give each other compliments and constructive feedback, and rely on each other when we know others can't actually do anything for us. Maybe you could find a friend like this. How about checking your mirror for someone and asking them some of your questions? It may take some coaxing, but they'll come around. Edit. Thanks for the awards. Very glad I was able to touch a few hearts today. Pass it on to anyone who may need it. Story 7. Every day I write on an index card something I'm grateful for. I have a little container and Sharpie next to my desk. I'm on day 265. It's immensely helped with my depression. If I get a flare-up, I just flip through and think of more reasons to be grateful for that particular thing. While I don't post there, I got the idea from a daily gratitude forum. I honestly thought it wasn't going to work, but after 3 weeks of gratitude, my mindset drastically changed for the better. Story 8. Unconventional stuff. Cut my hair, have a proper wet shave, and take a long shower. I always feel better when I look better, a sense of accomplishment. Conventional. Go get some fresh air and do some exercise like walking, hiking, or running, anything that doesn't take too much thinking. Story 9. Dance around your room while listening to your favorite music. Look like a complete fool doing it if you have to. It will tire you out, make you laugh, and distract you. Story 10. Am I the only person in the world who is not uplifted by exercise? I have been fit numerous times in my life, but at none of those times has it made me happier. Laughter, however, does help, if only for a short while. Story 11. Watch funny stuff. Whatever makes you laugh, discover funny things to read, watch, and do. Do something useful that requires very little time and effort. Is there an uneven table? Get a tiny piece of wood and glue it to the shortest leg. Does your fridge need to be sorted out? You can fix it in less than 30 minutes. Build a toy or something for your pet or your friend's pet. Hang out with your younger relatives and be a kid again for a couple of hours. Hang out with the elders. Find out if you can take them out for ice cream, a car ride, or something without risking their health and listen to them. Story 12. I understand emotions are fleeting. I can't control them, but I can control the focus of my conscious thoughts. I concentrate on mentally challenging problems to pass time and occupy my thoughts until sufficient time has passed to ease the pain. If that doesn't work, there's always this. Story 13. I don't know if this is unconventional, but I usually just let it all out when I'm by myself in my room. If I really need to let it all out, I listen to sad songs, become empathetic, and just let it all out. If I cry, I cry. It's not healthy bottling it all up, even if you're a guy. I do this a few times, and it made me feel so much better afterwards. Story 14. The Graham Norton Show. Even the bad ones are okay. The okay ones are really good, and the good ones are great. I just have to make myself pause and watch, and I get through a couple of hours and stop obsessing and agitating. I'll watch 3 at most, though. Story 15. This is unconventional in that it is uncomfortable, but try opening up extremely honestly with a friend. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't overthink how to present yourself. Don't qualify or justify the feelings yet. When they say, "How's it going?" just tell them you are feeling really sad, lost, depressed, or whatever emotions you are feeling. You might be surprised at how they respond to being so candid and how the conversation develops. Story 16. Whenever I start to have negative thoughts or have a pang of despair when I am alone, I say, "I love you" to myself, and that tends to stave it off for a while. Story 17. I recently moved into my own apartment. Here are a few things I have made daily and weekly habits to help with my depression. I have gotten into plants. Having a living thing that I am responsible for taking care of is rewarding. Every day, I move my plants into the sun for about 10 minutes, mist their leaves, and check the dampness of the soil. I recommend you try out a snake plant. They are virtually impossible to kill. I bought a bike to get to and from campus, but now I use it anytime I need to go somewhere nearby. It is fun riding the bike, and I am getting some fresh air and physical activity while saving money on gas. I bought a bunch of candles from the dollar store, and now I always have a candle burning in the evening. This trick really helps me wind down sometimes. It creates calming ambient lighting, and my room smells so warm and cozy. Finally, to stay organized, I use a whiteboard calendar, and every month I fill it in with every single thing I have going on that month. It has changed my life, my academics, and fixed my chronically late to things problem. Story 18. Personally, I feel like playing video games takes my mind off things. Some days I just love to smoke and play an open world game like Skyrim. You can get lost in it for hours, but that's just me. Story 19. When I am driving in my car with no passengers, I scream as loud as I can for a few seconds, like a Super Saiyan 3 power-up type of scream. It helps with my anxiety too. Story 21. Get a clear night sky. Find a large empty field. Get some rocks. Scream into the darkness and throw stones into the air. Vent absolutely everything until you feel catharsis. Story 21. Listen to music, though there's rarely a time when I'm not, and sketch or doodle. If I feel like I'm at one of my low points, I get really good at drawing one-eyed imps with a Cheshire Cat grin. The best thing to do is keep yourself focused and busy with something. Story 22. I recommend Pokemon Go. It's exercise and connecting with people while also being able to play by yourself and gives a form of achievement. I'm not good at other games, but this one only requires time to be good. Story 23. I tend to just focus on something else. I am always building projects, so just tinkering with electronics or woodworking gets my mind off it and replaces the sadness with a feeling of fulfillment when I finish something. Story 24. Do something new. Download a new game, try and maybe even fail at starting a new activity, meet new people, go for a walk somewhere new. Not sure what kind of timeline you are dealing with or the source of your sadness, but there is a range of things that you can do that can help in the short or long term. Story 25. The Headspace application is great, or just a short or long walk around the neighborhood. Get rid of anything that distracts your mind for a small time. In that way, your mind is working through whatever makes you sad instead of parking it away to be processed at a different time. Force your mind to process whatever is keeping you up. Takes a toll, but it works. Story 26. I write lyrics and then scream them out loud. Not that I'm the best songwriter out there, but even the most senseless stuff sounds good when screamed out loud. It's a way of putting your thoughts out there. Story 27. Write your feelings down, no matter how corny or excessive it is. Writing corny emotional poetry helped me with the extreme stuff when I was a teenager, and the same general concept still applies. Putting my thoughts and feelings down on paper somehow helps get them out of my head. Also, definitely work out if you haven't in the past week. Ideally, you go every day or every 3 days, but after a week, I start to feel literal anxiety, constant stress, and feeling trapped and powerless. I need to work out to be happy. Call up a loved one, siblings, or a parent for me, but whoever you really care about and miss. It's always nice to know someone's thinking of you, in my opinion, and reconnecting with those who really matter to you through a verbal conversation, even if it's not face-to-face, always leaves me with a smile. Lastly, get yourself physically outside in the daylight hours, even if it's overcast. Something about fresh air in the daylight hours does absolute wonders for me if I'm feeling down and cooped up. Exploring your town, getting a bit lost is also always fun. Just be sure you've got your phone on you and that it's charged. Actually, one last thing, kind of a spin-off, going for an aimless drive can be nice, especially on roads with minimal traffic at night with good music. That might be just a me thing. I just enjoy driving in general. But that sometimes makes me happy, too. Story 28. Something I like to do when relaxing and playing video games just doesn't cut it, is building something. Not necessarily anything crazy, but just something to get me outside and doing something that I see as productive. Usually, I see something online like a cornhole board or a Dungeons and Dragons dice box, think to myself, I can do that, ruin some wood, waste some paint, and after way longer than it should have taken, I have something that looks like an 8-year-old saw a picture and tried to recreate it from memory, and I couldn't be prouder of what I made. Story 29. I watch 1980s and 1990s anime on a 4x3 rear projection television, 43 inches, which is bigger than a 50-inch widescreen TV. I use the modern television for anything else, but that old TV works wonders for anything animated in old video games. Story 30. I have long 1 hour or more walks with a friend, and we just talk about everything. We say what we don't like about each other and all that stuff, just to make sure that we aren't lying to each other and that we know we're both not perfect. Then we talk about family and stuff. It's good for dealing with stress too. Story 31. I do something I heard Beyoncé say in an interview, which sounds corny, but it works. Basically, if I feel sad or depressed, I tell myself, you get one day to wallow in your sadness, cry, lay around eating, whatever. But the next day, you sit down and come up with a way to fix whatever it is that made you upset in the first place. It does not work every time, as I do have mental illness, but it works for normal sadness, like failing a test or getting dumped. Story 32. Honestly, I've learned the habit of talking to myself both internally and externally. I try to assess everything and truly think about what caused my sadness or what went wrong. But I do this with about everything, not just sadness. I just like to talk to myself. Story 33. The thing that has helped me the most is talking to close friends. I was in such a bad way last Monday, and I spent some time talking to trusted friends and felt like $1,000,000 afterward. I also walked on the treadmill for a bit. Nothing crazy, just a steady pace. I was astounded by how good I felt afterward and the next day. I have clinically diagnosed major depression and not just sadness, if that helps. Story 34. I ride my bike. Personally, I am a mountain biker and am fortunate to live where there are amazing trails just a stone's throw from my front door. I've done this with every kind of bike in all the places I've lived ever since moving out of my parents' house 18 years ago. Something about moving the long bones and the speed catalyzes a flow state. My brain turns off. It's pretty, and it's fun. Other exercise works, but it is not as fun, so I'm less likely to be motivated to do it when I'm feeling down. Story 35. Literally have a half-day routine for this. Upon waking up, I enjoy my first bowl of only the finest greens. Then I set up my pour-over setup and brew a decent but very satisfying cup of coffee. Eat anything with a big side of hash browns. Enjoy another half bowl of fine greens. Take a nice hot shower while listening to the soundtrack of The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Put on my favorite gym shirt that fits my muscles in all the right ways. Then I go do deadlifts and listen to intense music. Then I would treat myself to either pizza or 2 double cheeseburgers. By that time, I'm usually in a pretty good mood. Story 36. My normal list: exercise, healthy eating, water, a good night's sleep, didn't do the job to combat my sadness. I recently went to the nursing home in our community and adopted an elderly man for Christmas. I'll be anonymously fulfilling his Christmas wish list. Feels good to do something good. Story 37. Listening to angry music, specifically metal, industrial, and even a little dark goth, helps to recognize and separate feelings that aren't already attached to places, people, etc. I found this also helps to externalize emotions without physical response, misplaced rage, and short tempers. Story 38. Music, exercise, and friends are great ways to stop thinking about sadness for a while. But for me to really overcome it, I've got to jump right into why I'm sad. If it's fixable, then I need to have a plan to fix it. If it's not, then I need to have a way to accept it.